So when I sat down to write this book, I had two fundamental questions. They seemed like stupid questions, but I thought I'd ask them anyway. So one, how did and when did men come to have control over women? Not in just one little place or another little place or one time or another time, but all the time, seemingly throughout history, to this day, all over the world. If you doubt me, pick up the newspaper and look and see how many violent attacks there are that day or yesterday against women. And then I thought, okay, was it always that way? So I went back and read all this literature, the matriarchal histories of the world, finding that there may have been a golden time when women had at least as much power as men in societies, maybe a division of labor, but an egalitarian one where people were pretty much happy with what they were doing. But at some point in history, it seemed that men got control. Maybe when we stopped being hunter-gatherers and became more complicated, having more complicated societies. But then there was other research that seemed to go in the other direction. In the end, what really interested me was, okay, as we became democratic, those kind of moments in history when people became, instead of having rule by the father or the head of the clan, it would be an egalitarian rule. But hey, it was ruled by the men. And I realized that we didn't just go from patriarchy and continue to have patriarchy. We don't really have patriarchy in most of the world anymore. But what we have is a band of brothers, a fraternal order, where men divide up the world and decide how women should be controlled. I know that sounds so nefarious and kind of paranoid, but really what I mean is that we don't really have a democracy. What we have is a fraternal order that basically does not allow women to have as much freedom as they might have. So why is that? Again, that's the question. How did that come about? What underlies that? And that took me to something I've been studying for years, and that is the metaphysical ideas that underlie everything, the way we see the world, men and women, and people, non-binary people. We're struggling to get out of that, but there's this set of binaries: activity over passivity, strength over weakness, reason over emotion. All of these binaries are not just equal opposites, they're hierarchical, one over the other. Where is she? She's usually on the lower side, on the side of nature, passivity, emotion. So even if a woman has the qualities that are valued, then she seems to be a traitor to her sex, just being like a man. So there's all of these quandaries, and that's what drove me to write this short little book, this little quick immersion. And I found the task to be interesting, and I hope you'll find it interesting to read.